Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I've got a matchup here against Cole, one of the Zoro players from our locals matchups, and he is all about that Zoro. And I roll a 12 and he rolls a 2. I choose to go second. I still don't know if going second is like the best in this matchup, to be fair. I don't normally get to play against a lot of Zoro players. There's a few, but I just don't get to play against a ton. And honestly, I feel as though my hand wasn't as bad as I thought it was, but I decided to mulligan. I had 3 impact waves. Impact waves are really good against this matchup, but I didn't know how I felt about having 3 of them. In hindsight, I think it actually would have been really helpful, just for how easily he can flood the board with characters. But we go ahead and decide to do the mulligan and pass over having those 3. But this is a best of 3 matchup. We are in the top cut. I think at the current moment, I'm 3-1, but I think I was in second place at the moment. And so he goes first. He will play the Nami and searches out, I believe, a Zoro. Yep. And so our starting hand is going to have... was that an impact wave? It might have been a meteor volcano. It was a meteor volcano. Yeah, and a couple of other items. But I think I'm going to just throw down the Sengoku for 2, just to have a body on the board to start doing like some form of clearing. But at the same time, all he's got to do is play Vista or, whatnot. And he will swing with 5. And it looks like he's going to pick up Magra and swing for 5 again. I'll go ahead and counter out. And he plays Zoro. And then... Wait a minute, am I missing something? Oh, you know what? That was an honest misplay on... I think that was an honest misplay on his part. He played Magra, then played Zoro. And he didn't have the Dawn to do that, because he was going first. That's why I was sitting here like, wait a minute, how did I not notice that in the moment? I did not notice that in the moment. Huh. Interesting. Well, I will put my leader ability on Nami, or on Magra, and then I will go ahead and swing 7, I believe, at Zoro. But we do 4 first at Nami, bringing Zoro down to 1. And then I'll go 7 at Zoro, and he does let that die. And now I'm thinking of whether I want to Meteor Volcano the Magra or not, and we choose to. So then I'll just pass turn. I wanted to kind of stop the tempo of him being able to just create this massive board really fast. And he will play Zoro here and swing for 5. I will counter out, and he's going to play Nami and then search. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he finds... Oh, never mind. I think it might be the second matchup, but there was one of these matches I remember he just found all the Zoros in the world, and I was like, wow, okay, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, so looking over what I have in hand and just kind of planning out the attack, but we have 6 Dawn at the moment. Definitely going to use that leader ability, and potentially another Meteor Volcano in hand. But Nami is just so nice that she's able to search out everything that he wants and just keep refilling the hand. But he lets Zoro go after swinging for 7 at it. And now I'm kind of deciding whether I want to use Kobe or not to take care of the Sunny-kun. But, with 5 Dawn active, I'm like, is the play to put down Smoker and maybe bite the bullet, counter out of some of these swings, and then try and get, my hand at taking out some life here. And he is going to slap 1 underneath Zoro and swing for 5. I'll counter out with Isuka, bringing myself up to 6. But the hand is slowly dwindling whilst his is, not looking too bad. Not in bad shape. And he is going to use that Rested Dawn from Brook right there and put 2 under Nami, swing for 6 again. Kind of deciding whether I want to counter out or not, but we do decide to counter out of that. And then a 7 from Zoro leader hurts, but there is another Nami. I think that's his 3rd Nami, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm just like, wow, can't win. But he picks up 5-drop Luffy, plays his last Dawn to put down Sunny-kun, And I'm like, oh, interesting. You had, you know, only 2 on board, and now there's 5, and and still have a decent hand to be able to, you know, produce some counters and whatnot. And now I'm just like, this is what makes the matchup against Zoro so difficult for Smoker, because in order for me to do a lot of the board clear, I have to get rid of my hand, and I'm trashing cards that I really do need in the moment. I think I see a Garp in my hand at the moment. It would be really nice to be able to get that down on field, especially with him having 2 cards in hand. It feels as though, you know, what are the odds of him having a Vista? But I swing for 7 at Nami. I'll swing at the Sunny Kun right there, and I'll play Kobe and take out Sunny Kun as well. Trash it to Shigi. And I'm just trying to do as much as possible to stabilize and, you know, get rid of a lot of these, you know, pesky cards that are going to cause me problems in the future. And we're not doing terribly in you know, potentially creating an open board, but at the same time, like, we haven't drawn any blockers. I haven't drawn any of those impact waves that I threw back into the deck. So impact wave would come in clutch, but I'm gonna go ahead and take care of the Nami here. Yep. And we're gonna go ahead and trash another Tashigi, unfortunately. I just had 2k counters in hand, and I didn't really have much of an option. I suppose that I could have just not played the Kobe, but I was a little worried that if I didn't, I was just going to, you know, be eating my words, essentially. But he does swing for 6 at life here. I'm thinking about countering out, but at the same time, if I do, then that means he's going to KO Smoker. So I do pick this up. I Meteor Volcano, which is kind of convenient. And now I have to trash a card, and we choose to trash Kobe. And he's going to go ahead and do 7 at life. I'll take that as well. And he puts down Luffy for 7. And I quite literally drew my impact waves when he didn't have cards that I could KO. They were all rested already. So that was, yeah, that was that. Quick match. It's so hard to deal with some of that tempo that Zoro has. And we're just going to go on to match 2, and we're both, you know, just shuffling it up, kind of finding, you know, in my head, what could I do better in this second match? I don't know if there was much I could have done other than potentially keep the original hand and work with Impact Wave and try and build a board based off of that slowly. But I really couldn't even chip away at his life that game, because I was pretty much fighting for my own life and board control. But on to match 2 of the, you know, best of 3, and I'm going to go ahead and draw some. It looks like we pick up a pretty strong hand against other matchups, but just not up against this one. And I'm going to go ahead and mulligan. He's choosing to mulligan as well. So whenever he mulligans, it makes me feel a little bit better. I'm like, oh, okay. Thankfully, I have an opponent that's also just going to start with a random hand, and we're just going to go from there. But yeah, we go ahead and split it up. He's got his 5 down. I'm putting mine, and I really am hoping in this matchup I can pick up a few more blockers and have some options, like we have the impact wave to start, which is really nice. That helps us out a lot just from the beginning. And he is going to put down that Sunny Kun, which is really annoying, but I'll go ahead and rest 2, put down Garp, and I actually chose to not swing there. I'm not really sure if that was just a mistake on my part. I don't really know why I didn't swing at that moment. But he does get a Nami, finds another Zoro, and adds that to hand. He's going to put down Curly to Dawn, and I would imagine he'll pick up a Nami, but there we go. Magra added to the hand, so now that makes Sunny Kun and Nami scary yet again. Just absolutely terrifying. And I'm trying to... My thought process here is, like, I want to save the impact wave, but in order for me to get value out of Garp, I have to use leader ability and then put a couple under Garp. So I'll go for 6 at life and KO the Sunny Kun. And he does let that die. Well, he has to. But he will take the life, and then I'll go 7 at life, and he'll take that as well. So already off to a slightly better start than the last game. And yeah, I still know that him having that Zoro as well as the Magra in hand is pretty terrifying, because realistically, he's going to have like 4 swings this turn. So, yeah, I'm just going to let the Garp die here as he swings for 4 with Curly to Dawn. I just know that if I had tried to protect it, it would have cost me a lot more than it would to protect it. Or than to just let it go, excuse me. Yeah, and I will counter out of this though, and he puts down Zoro, and he's gonna swing again. I'm just gonna go down to 2 life already, but I am building a hand. I'm building a hand right now to try and find some answers for some of this board, but also simultaneously just to be able to survive a lot of the swings and potentially get, you know, a card down that will be able to like handle this moment. And with 6 Dawn, I don't have too many options, but it's looking like we picked up a couple of blockers finally, and we do have that impact wave. The 10 drop in hand does feel like an entire brick, but it will be useful for maybe like trashing some cards with Sakazuki, or if we pick up a Kobe. And let's see, what are we going for here? I'm gonna put 2 under leader and bring Magra down to 0. I'll go 8 at Zoro. He'll let it die. Interestingly, I don't know why I didn't go for 7 there. I'm not sure if I had a plan with 8. Oh, I guess the plan was just to put down Roshinante and save Impact Wave. So I was like, yeah, I'm just going to have an extra Dawn straggling around, so might as well just go for 8. And yeah, this is about as scary as it gets, especially when he plays down Vista. He just had all the answers. He really did. He had all the answers in hand for these, you know, for these plays that I was trying to make. And he decides to go for 5 at life here. You know, I could use Impact Wave, but is it really the play at the moment to take care of Nami or not? And I choose to take life, even though I have a lot of counters in hand. I know that I have a lot of counters in hand. So he is going to go for 5 here as well. I'll choose to use the Impact Wave and get rid of Magra. He will go 6 with life. I'll counter out. But after he passes here, I don't feel like we're in a great spot. It's not a commanding position by any means. But I will choose to go for 5 at Nami, take him out. Did I draw? I'm not even sure if I drew. I wasn't paying attention. But I'll put down Kuzan and then draw a card. And it's looking like we're just going to throw down a couple of blockers and kind of pray. Just kind of hope for the dream. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and throw these 2 down and pass. But since he's played Vista and he only has, I think, like 5 cards in hand. Oh no, he has more than 5. That's right, he's been using Curly as well as Nami, so he's been picking up quite a bit. Yeah, he's got quite a bit in hand, but he will go ahead and throw down Newgate, and he swings for 7 with leader. I'll go ahead and block that. And the reason why I blocked it was because I wanted to try and get at least a little bit of value out of the blockers before Newgate becomes really pesky and starts using his ability. I do swing with Kuzan here and bring Newgate down to 5. We're at 10 Dawn, and I have options. I have the option of potentially playing the 10 drop here, but I choose to go with 4 for Kuzan, trying to get a couple of cards in hand. I know that I'm going to have to Sakazuki, and let's see, what do we trash? Probably 10 drop, I would imagine. We'll trash the 5 drop Smoker here. Yeah, and I'll go ahead and pass it over. Not really much we could do. I could have swung 5 at life, but he had 7 because of Newgate, so it didn't really make sense to do that. And I was actually just looking at the card to make sure that I couldn't remember if it was he maintained the 2000 power on his leader even after Newgate's death, but it was indeed, you know, that. So yeah, Here we go. He vistas the blocker, and then I have to use Borsalino as a blocker here. Feels so bad. And then I use Garp, and he'll take care of the Kuzan, and he'll jet pistol the other Kuzan. I mean, it's just all the answers. He had all of them. I was really trying to get through that turn by having some of the cards remaining, and with such, I'd be able to, you know, potentially like try and go for life, make a play for, you know, picking off maybe 2 of his life and doing some board clear. But I will go ahead and put down Borsalino and pass, leave 2 active for an impact wave. I'm not sure if we actually even picked one up. I might just be baiting that, but it doesn't really matter either way. He swings 5 with Vista here, and yeah, he'll play Nami. Get a couple of searching in, and I mean, just the rush cards finds him immediately, you know? I'm like, oh god, how unlucky can I get? But at the moment, he can't swing with Nami, but he can swing with Leader, as well as potentially 2 rush cards. I only have 2 cards in hand. I believe one of them's 10 drop. I choose to take the life here. Yeah, and if he's got 2 Zoros, I mean, it is what it is. So he's going to swing 6 at life. And I'm kind of just mulling over this. I'm like, oh god, is this correct? Like, what do I do here? Do I counter out? And, or do I potentially, like, just use the Borsalino blocker and hope for the best? I don't even know if I have a counter in hand at this moment. Yeah. Oh yeah, it was at this exact moment that I was like, how much Dawn do you have left? And then we were counting it, and he was like, oh no wait, I should have 4 Dawn left. And I was like, oh yep, you should. Because I thought that he only had 3 Dawn left, and I was like, oh okay, maybe I can stop at a 6k swing, but with another Zoro going at 7k, I don't really have too much of an option, so I am just going to let the Borsalino go down, and he will jet pistol that and pass turn. So if he had another Zoro, it was game. I don't think I had any counters, but yeah, I pretty much tell him here, I'm like, yeah, there's no chance. Unless, yeah, I was like, I don't have it. I got 2 10 drops of Sakazuki and a Tashigi in hand. Not much I could do. And it was tough. I tell you what, it was tough. Very quick games because, I mean, realistically, I was just trying to battle for some form of board control and trying to survive, but, you know, could only do so much in the match. Yeah. But thanks for watching again, guys. I appreciate you as always. And I'm going out of town today as this video is uploading. So I will be back in just a bit, but I'm going to try and schedule up some matches of some sim games. I might try out a different deck and see what happens. So I appreciate you guys as always. I'll see you in the next one. All right, peace.